Yep.
So, okay, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good evening.
Or good evening. Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you for giving the plates to work on. It's pretty nice because the first time I saw the plates, Dima showed them to me some time ago, I think.
Yeah, there was some few sets what Dima shared with me. So and David looked at the Kobe backplates and he said, "Look, give me this. I wanted that." Because David is a big fan of Kobe, and I honestly had to Google. I know some short information about Kobe. I didn't know a lot.
So I started to shoot the backplates, and we have like art district here in Los Angeles, and I think this graffiti was, I don't know, like, but it's pretty fresh. Yeah, it's not old, like old. Yeah, I think it's up to the Kobe's death, and they painted on the walls, and then I saw it, and it's just I need to picture it, and it's so bright, and the weather is nice. The sun lit this graffiti so well. So after I shot this one, so I showed it to Dmitry, and like, okay, we have this kind of plates. Like, do you mind to make some cool project with this, just to memorize all this stuff? Yeah, and then Dmitry, your turn. How was it made?
Okay, David, because David, it was the main idea from David about selecting the car, because as I said, David is a much bigger fan of Kobe than me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know a lot about basketball and also about Kobe, but I did not know that he got a present from Snoop Dogg when he retired from basketball, like kind of the same car. Pretty hard to get some references, and there also is some cool airbrush on the bonnet. So at first I thought, yeah, maybe take this car, but it was a little too on the nose for one thing. Another thing was this car just fits the location much better, I think. The other thing, technically, if we make it convertible, we can show it open, but modeling Kobe in 3D would have been a little bit too much to put him in the car, and also too much in your face. So this slight hint of what you said when we talked when we had the first chat, like the spirit of Kobe, I didn't want to have the character integrated into the scene in some way. So just a guess that he's still here, and this is like my personal feeling about the project. You said, yeah, spirit of Kobe is still here, so that sums it up pretty good. Because yeah, the whole thing. I read the news, Kobe is dead, and like, yeah, that's some bad joke. But yeah, because for me, personally, he just retired, and he achieved so much, and those people used to keep on giving to life and to people. So pretty upsetting that he just passed away, including his daughter, also in the graffiti. Very, very sad story, and people have their own ways to cope with the whole thing. And it's like when you hear that some celebrity passed away, you're upset. But this was really touching me more than I thought it would. So I think that also helped to cope with it, because when I started to work on the plates, I was always like, nah, Kobe's dead. Yeah, that's really sad. And towards the end of the project, I really didn't have this feeling anymore. It was a great pleasure to make these shots, to make some angles with the plates, to play with it, and I'm pretty happy with the result. And usually I don't do any like homage to people who pass away just to honor them, but this was the first time I did something artistic in this direction, and it feels pretty good.
Yeah, when we start, like when we have a conversation first time, to share the ideas what we can do, because I didn't expect that oh, we can use this car, like, and all this story. Like, I was so impressed by your idea, like the heroes stay always. And when you showed me the car, which was presented to Kobe, I was like, wow, yeah, it's a really nice idea. It's like, yeah, we can do pretty well. So thanks
Yeah,
for, like, also inspiration from your side to make it happen.
Thank you. There was a personal aspect to this project right from the beginning. And as Dima said, when I saw the plates, I was like, yeah, please, man, this is so cool. We can really make something nice out of it. And I didn't have the idea right away to use this kind of car. But with a Ford GTO, it's also an icon. So 2 icons in the image, 2 heroes that will be there forever, like timeless impression to history and to humanity. Yeah, okay, now I'm getting carried away, but...
Yeah, and also there was an interesting story with searching the model, because we couldn't model that from scratch. So, and yeah, we were trying to find exactly the same 3D model, and it was a bit tricky. And there were some more people who did researching of the model. David, you also can tell that.
Yeah, we got kind of a similar model from a very nice modeler, but this was also convertible, and there were some parts different, and we would have to remodel them to make the original Kobe car, and also for the car paint on the hood. There's one reference picture in the whole internet from that car paint, so I'm not a real airbrush painter, and I can't recreate this on my own in proper quality. So kind of impossible to get the proper reference to do this for real. And that's why we decided to use this car, which is kind of similar and like the LA labeled Kobe car. And again, the whole story, an icon as a car, an icon in the image, it's about Kobe. This whole story matched pretty well.
How, like, for you, like, how easy it became when you collaborate, like, with photographers?
So what really helped me, you can see this reference was a very good inspiration for me to find a good angle, like from the driver's side out to the passenger's window. Depth of field, turn a little bit around because we wanted to see the wall and not the car in detail in this case. But all of these shots, like, yeah, can I do something with it? I also tried close-ups for the taillight. We had some more options, more than these when we started. You made a few selections, so these definitely help as inspiration, because when I get the backplates, there are many nice backplates and I can choose something. And usually the artist also, like when someone downloads a pack and starts working, people used to use the full frame image and put the car somewhere, but why not use a prop? And this is also what we did, make a close-up of the car and just take a part of some backplate and put more together. So it's not just the backplates, you can do more with the imagery. And from the inspiration here, yeah, that definitely helped setting me all this stuff up.
Yeah, because for me, when I shoot the backplates, I mean, it's I shoot a lot of angles. So, and the most important, sometimes I can see it like as a photographer, like, okay, we can use this like for the full car, and this is like 3/4, and this is like 7/8 part, and this is for close-ups. Especially like for the close-ups, it's pretty hard sometimes, I think, for you as a CGI, like to understand like, oh, why this weird angle, like, you know, point to the wall. And then when I try to explain, like, okay, this is the angle that we can use, you know, the part of the car depends also on the model. So if we use like this Ford, when you show me the lights, the front part, I mean, wow, it's pretty cool and it looks fantastic. So we can, yeah, this image here. So we can, you know, like if it's nice details, okay, we can use the backplate or like HDRI. And then just, okay, let's render this part and just make it a little bit out of focus. And then, yeah, so, and I try to make like, for sure in the backplates, always like the front, full size of the car, front, side, back, and maybe like 7/4 or 7/8 and 3/4. And then try to shoot like for the details, because details make it like, if you have like good car, with the good details, I mean, it's pretty nice to see like all this zoom in, all these parts. I mean, it looks fantastic, especially which we did like this project and also with the Honda. It looks like super cool. Yeah, also details is always nice.
Mm-hmm. And we're producing also one more set, and probably car there will be not probably. We already discussed it will be not yellow. We can, but not that time.
But jacaranda and yellow looks pretty neat together.
Yeah. Very cool collaboration of purple color and yellow. Yep.
Yeah. So come back to Kobe.
Yep. And that's also good because from the beginning it looks like okay, yellow card there and there, but the color palettes for the both sets, they are different, and this is really cool.
Yeah, because I see all this wall, and when you said me like, okay, we have this this kind of feeling, and I try to play around with the colors a little bit to match like the car and the mood, and sometimes I wanted to add like some grain because it's not like this car is still vintage, so I just wanted to add a little bit more vintage look to this one. So that's why we discussed like back and forth, like, okay, this could be like, can we add this one or this one? And I think now it's like, it's matching pretty well together to get this grainish, like a little bit soft look. And I super love this image, like on the back, it's like the car fits so nicely.
I really love this vintage stuff. So the grading and the sharpness and the strong grain, really super cool. And if you see the images in full resolution, like some full resolution props, it's just super nice. This photographic quality. When you render, everything is super sharp and everything. Yeah, you can render with depth of field, so you get some. We also did that. By the way, render times with enough computation and ray tracing to get the headlights look cool with depth of field. Dima, I don't need to tell you, yeah, this takes quite some time, but it looks cool still. Everything is kind of super sharp always with renderings and CGI and kind of clean, and this has some stretches and some used look, and together with all of that, I also really love this shot.
What about the question? Dima, how you fly there?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a nice question. So I have it like, so I try to be so minimal, use like tripod and the monopod on the shoots, because I mean, it's pretty heavy, always to carry like a lot of bags, and sometimes you just need to be so fast, like to shoot, and then just because it's road and a lot of cars, it's need to catch the moment when it's like empty. Yeah, so I took the monopod, it just like, I think it's like 3-4 meters, and then just put the camera on 5-second timer, just okay, 5, 4, 3, just move it up, and then just shoot, okay, done. That's how we get the bird view. Yeah, because you can't fly like any drones over there, so I mean, it could be a huge fine for this one. So this monopod is pretty easy. Just, you know, put it in the back, just okay, it's light heavy and just shoot. Yeah, so I was laughing when you told me, it's like, hey, Dmitry, how you fly on this?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah, so when we start to work, like we have this, it's a little bit pale, but you can still see a lot of colors like inside. Yeah, you can see the blue, sky, the wall. The camera couldn't like really show you the real colors, especially with the sun. That's why it's, when you scroll to see the final, I think it's really how you can see in real life this graffiti. So it's super bright, it's super nice color. The bricks is like, looks like bricks, you know, like brown, red. So sometimes it's really LA. I mean, the camera couldn't show like LA. It's sometimes it's a little bit foggy always. So that's why when you see the images, the LA style is always different from like other part of from New York or like San Francisco. Different because I mean, you always have this kind of fog in air, so it's like always a little bit, how it's called, like
misty. Yeah,
especially like if it's because this time it was like a little bit cloudy. You can see it also on HD, right? So it looks like the cloud but HDR, I think it's at the end of the. I
Yep.
put the video.
Yep.
And it's like the real like conditions of the. So when you go, you can see. It's still you have the sun, but it's feathered, but it's super hard, and it's in the same way. It's it's soft.
Mm-hmm.
You see the hard shadows, but they're not so hard. They still a little bit like
Yeah, they have this
feathered
light
on the
softness.
edges. Yeah, so that's why when you start grading and you see like in real life, like, oh, this looks like this. Okay, you can add a little bit like tint to the shadows, but in general, like the colors are there. And
Yeah, but you still have to make the colors look appealing after the photography.
Yeah.
So yeah, color grading is really the crucial part to give the thing impact.
Mm-hmm. And I like this whole motion blur. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the motion blur. We had an option without motion blur, and just comparing those two, it's not a hard choice. I also like the very graphical composition with the dark side of the building and the bright side with the graffiti. Everything fits in there pretty cool. I like the color variation to give it depth, with a white blue building on the other side of the road, and in the tree foreground elements in the foreground with depth of field often look very nice. The sign on the side, yeah, I could recite all elements from the image. So to me, I really love this shot. Also the slight shadow that goes over the car. Just rebuild this column in 3D, that one on the back. So we have kind of the same shadow coming towards the car. And with motion blur, slightly softer shadow. So this is just some plus in 3D, but everything else is HDR, light source. So, yeah.
that's good. Okay, what we have else here?
We have the
Side shot.
usual nice side shot, and this is also a good example. Just make a close-up of the car. Okay, this one is pretty obvious with the yellow bars in front, and I had the car placed more in the middle, and you said, no, push it back out of the image. And this did well for the composition and for the whole shot. Also, I like Kobe is looking to the back, but also it's kind of looking down on the car. And with both the bars in front, and the slight color tinting on the top right of the image. Also a super nice shot. And with the close-ups, yeah, why not add a close-up? This is just road and
more details,
but it fits really well into the whole series. And when layouting, trying some very perspective angles, but also some symmetrical compositions, and staging the design of the car, the cool features, the emblem, the hood, and the GTO logo, for example. Very graphical, because with a photo camera, you can shoot it, but you have to adjust it, maybe very slightly, a few pixels. You can measure everything, but in CGI, again, you just have to type 000 straight on the car, and you are really absolutely in the middle of the car. And what makes it kind of good always is to add some human error. So some 1 millimeter to the side, a little twist, a little shake, is also helping the image sometimes. And for that, it's two backplates composed together, because this angle straight down to the road for this resolution, for this crop, we didn't have. So one backplate on the one side, one backplate on the other side, and some refraction through the windows. You can't really tell what's there. So again, just using what's there, and the HDR, of course, and you see the nice reflections on the hood. Yeah, pretty nice to work with, and a lot of fun as well. The goal is to create nice images, so don't get lost in the model.
Yeah, and also super sharp when you go through CGI. When you showed me first time, I wrote to the comment, okay, let's make it a little bit on post. To make this look, just a little bit less sharpness, and then okay, Yeah, because sometimes like I think for the new stuff, and you can tell me, like for the modern cars, it's all about like the sharpness, the lighting, the shapes, the texture of the paint. Um, what else? I mean, it should be like clean, right? And super sharp. And you can need like to use it on print or digital, just you need like, to see every detail new like Mercedes. And for this one, I think it's like a little bit different type of projects. So
yeah, it's more about mood and
yeah.
atmosphere. Not the classic advertising shot and angle, because you really often, nowadays it's more and more popular lifestyle images, but a few years ago it was so obvious, like, okay, this is advertising shot when you see exact car position and it's showing all the details, and the car is like, it's really advertising about car. Nowadays, more and more popular becomes some lifestyle shots with mood and atmosphere, and story is much more important than exact advertising, beautiful, I don't know, glossy car standing on the front of you, and just like numbers about, okay, it costs this amount of money.
Putting the car into there, re-rendering some areas just as you work in photography, put the sun in the exact correct position that matches the shadows, so everything is going in the right way, but doesn't necessarily look that good, but I want that angle of the car, so rotate the HDR a little bit to get the highlight on the exact spot where you want it to be. This is a very good example, and then happy. Like multiple exposures, multiple shots, blocking out reflections, putting something into there. That makes the image great. And then again, back to talking about details and dirt and everything. If the image is convincing and you look at it and it's like, yeah, that's a nice image. It's like the first impression with human beings. You see the image and you buy it or you don't. And if you buy it, you don't have to care for every detail, that everything is correct. So nice image, and the job is sold.
You do also the full production, like you shoot everything with no CGI, and also now you try to work with CGI. How it was for you?
So it's pretty easy, because
because for you it's the same process. Take your pictures. So
take pictures. That's it. No, I think especially like photography part. For me, it's just like to imagine where you can place the car. I think because it's like I can compare me to my wife, because sometimes she, for example, I can see where I can place the car, for example, or I can see like, okay, this, will be furniture in the room, and I can like, in my mind, I can measure like how it will looks like. But for other people, and I talk with other photographers, sometimes it's pretty hard to like, okay, what, I don't know, like I can shoot, but I can't imagine where it could be. So that's why for me, when I shoot backplates, I try to imagine like, okay, especially for this angle. So I shoot the backplate and we can see the part of the like road. So for me, exactly when I shot this one, I thought, okay, the car should be placed in this location. So as a photographer, for me, I mean, it's pretty easy to shoot and then understand where it could be the car. Other question is like how, and that's why sometimes I try to make like, any drafts as I showed you, like, on the paper, like where I saw this car, because like for straight shots, it's pretty easy. We have backplate and we can place the car. And I think it's like 80% of the background, like in resolution, like 20% for the car. So it's like, this is the car and this old background. So it's pretty easy to shoot this side and it's like 3/4. And then for any details, I mean, you need to understand like, okay, this what he means. And that's why when you collaborate with CGI artists, it's like, okay, guys, I can saw it in this way, and this detail could be like on this backplate, and this could be like, yeah, like for example, I can shoot like from the bottom, or we can use like HDRI to show this like close up, and this you can scroll down, like this angle from the bottom, for example. Yeah, also you can shoot it And sometimes you don't need like to see the full car. It's also about the details. So it's like, you know, and also support the story, like the car, you know, driving on the road and you can just click it and got some nice details with the car. And also I try to explain it like to you, like, okay, this backplate could be used in half of the car, and can we do it? And yes, we can. So like all the process, like between, I think I start to move like to CGI really this year. So I shot the cars before, uh, but like implement the CGI, I started like this year. Like, and I think, yeah, I mean, you already have like so much experience, you know, with the angles, shooting from inside, from outside, all these details. I mean, we already shot it in your mind. So for me, it's pretty easier to shoot and then explain to CGI artists, okay, let's play around with this, especially this kind of stuff. You know, you can see like, okay, these stripes, and then yeah, you can see the cars, how they drive through this road, especially. Sometimes I shoot and have like to get the, you know, the car, different car, like as a reference, like, okay, we have this kind of stuff, and then I can show you, okay, this background, and we have like this kind of car, and then can we match these two angles. It's always about the story. I try to, if I shoot all the set for the backplates, it's all about the story to show the, you know, the car with the model, details of the car, um, and also you can play with the grading to, you know, to make it more deep. Like, okay, this is like all the vintage look, and I wanted to get this one.
For you, for the photographer shooting plates and having the angle in your head, you can tell the artist, this is what I had in mind, and I'm like some very low angle for this one, and push the car to the right because this is what looks good in the composition. In CGI, we have the great freedom to play with the car. We just have to move it. It's just one click and drag of the mouse, and it's exactly where you want it to be. And this is for us totally everyday business because we can do this the whole time. The first time I worked with photographers in CGI many years ago, the photographer said, can you put the light a little down? I want this area more to be more emphasized. And yeah, click and move it down. And he was like, what's going on? That was
so fast.
Usually I have to wait 10 minutes until the light guy is putting the light into the right, and I have to adjust it. So yeah, this is super cool.
Any picture, so you can put the CGI people model and then put the car, and that's it, and it will be ready. And it will be pretty useful because sometimes, you know, it's pretty hard to get this exactly car, but you can get the good backplates and good CGI artists and combine it together and just make it like look super nice.
One experience I realized over the years with CGI, there are a lot of people who want everything, full control over the whole project. We sometimes make jokes when we have a project and we are a few days away from deadline and everything is locked down and production is almost done. And then let's say some CEO of a company comes along and says, let's change the angle. So this is like, okay, but you realize we have to kind of start from the beginning, the whole production process. So this feeling of it's done by a computer, can't you just rotate it? And honestly, no, because it's like exactly the same with photography. You can cheat a little bit in CGI, but the possibilities, technically the possibilities are endless, but some possibilities are just nonsense and super expensive and don't make any sense at all. And if you're really coming from this position, I want full control. I want to do 3 days of layouting. I want to try every angle and every car position. Sure, this is a lot of work, and then it definitely makes sense to focus on the CGI production pipeline. But why do you need that? Because if you have a good concept in the beginning, you can shoot 100 backplates and take options from these backplates and move on with the process. I would call it a professional demand from my side. For art direction, for example, art direction needs to make a decision and not change the decision a few days before deadline. that doesn't make sense. The part of the good process is to have a good concept, to have everything figured out. Sure, the usual adjustments, and we can even play. This is the freedom of CGI. We can put the car wherever we want, but we have kind of a fixed composition, a fixed angle for the backplate, and then moving the car. This is, for me personally, I feel a lot of freedom. But again, if you want all the freedom, you have to send the photographer back to the location. It's also the same with CGI. And if you have a good plan for the production, this solution, to promote this solution, really cool backplates, cool rendering of the product is the most efficient way to get good quality.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
Nice speech.
Some sales talk, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Nice.
You can talk.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you study a lot. After 12 years of work.
After 12 years of work.
Like, oh, you just, yeah, they make one click here. Okay, that's good. You know, like 30 years later, it's like, oh, you know, they made the button, you know, like made awesome. Just make it cool. Okay, yeah, it's hype, you know, in filters, like filters, okay, make it awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool if you have like veteran experience and everything, and then you see some life hack that really speeds up the process, because
yeah,
you've done it so many times, and then you see, okay, it can be so easy. Especially with our 3D work. Years ago, some simple things have been so complicated, and today it's just one click. And this, I always wanted the whole process to be focused on the creative, on the full creative process. If you're a digital artist or photographer, you want to create a nice image, and sometimes you're distracted. Oh crap, my battery is empty. I need to clean my lens. I need to wait for the right light. So something is blocking your creative flow, and this happens a lot in CGI. Your program is crashing, the data is too big. Some other issues.
Resolution.
Sorry?
Resolution. For example, 10 years ago, 5K was super big resolution. Nowadays, 10K, okay, like the daily job, 20K, yeah, 40K, yeah, also possible.
Just need a little bit wait.
Yeah, just wait a bit more. Yeah.
But this waiting was my point. 15 years ago, I thought, okay, in 15 years, computers will be awesome, software will be awesome. I can totally focus on the creative process. And today, did you check the color profile? And also there's a button for that, and this and that. And still, we are making progress. Everything is getting faster and bigger, but also the quality is getting bigger. The files are getting bigger. So it's always, the possibilities are there and everything is catching up. So I'm still waiting for the moment that we can focus 80, 90% on creative tasks and only small amount on the technical challenges every day. But I feel like it's 60-40 for creative nowadays, because softwares and computers are getting better, but I thought we would have more progress. Maybe in 20 years, I'm a rambling old man, like, oh yeah, software some time ago, yeah, you know.
Oh, my shake hands, yeah, just click this button. Done.
Yeah.
While David is doing research, so
now you can talk for real.
Yeah, I can tell that. Yes, it was very comfortable to work with you, Dima. Your favorite photographer of our team, because you support and give us lots of backplates. So yeah, if you want, I can tell you lots of good things about you. But that's, with no jokes, that's really very comfortable to work. Especially I like to do the stage, like layouting with you. First of all, because when you create the backplates, you kind of keep in mind where car will be placed. And because maybe it's like your experience and good imagination, I don't know, but yeah, when you see the image, I see the backplates, I can kind of imagine exact position for the car. So, and like the whole composition, it already looks quite okay. It's just like, yeah, just put car there and it will start to work. Yeah, I like to discuss with you at the process and layouts at the beginning, because usually there are much more backplates than I can handle, and as a result I start to think like, maybe we should do this layout or that layout or this, or maybe one more that. So that is also very cool. And I like your retouching skills, especially color grading skills, because I like the color grade process, but I really appreciate your final touchments. Also, maybe because of your experience, also very, very cool to work with you, because sometimes, yes, when I do color grading, it's very good when someone can like look at with fresh eye and fresh mind and the image and make a final attachments. Also, I like it's very important when few artists, in this case like 3D artists and photographer, can have the same feeling of the final process, because sometimes it can be a compromise, like, okay, maybe try to do something between, but I'm happy that my taste and your taste are kind of very similar. Okay, now you can shine.